Okay.
Hello, welcome to our presentation. I am Cheryl Eberly, and today me and my colleague, Dr. Larry Singer, are going to talk about a very unique program that we have here at the Santa Ana Public Library that utilizes specially programmed AI robots to work with neurodivergent youth and help them develop skills, social skills, and literacy skills, and help them to become more acclimated to robotics, technology, and community. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Larry right now to introduce you to one of our friends.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Dr. Larry. Okay, first, everybody's probably had a long morning already, I'm imagining. So let's get the Kevy cam out, and Kevy, our robot, has something to help you take a stretch. There's Kevy. Here you go,
Okay,
Kevy.
Dr. Larry.
Can we
Hello,
hear Kevy? Can
Library 2.0 attendees.
we hear Kevy? Oh,
Okay,
there you go.
Dr. Larry. Hello, Library 2.0 attendees. You have had a long morning so far, so let's have a stretch. Let's move our bodies to warm up. Are you ready? I see some people not standing up. Are you ready? Okay, move with me. Copy what I do. Move with me. Fantastic job. I like to move my body.
Thank you so
You
much,
are
Kevy. That was great.
welcome.
And that was Kebby. And that is usually a routine that we have Kebby start out with and with our youth who attend our programs. And that's to get them moving and relaxed and get them comfortable. So let me tell you a little bit about myself and also about serving neurodiverse youth in Santa Ana. Like I said before, my name is Cheryl Eberly. I am a principal librarian here at the Santa Ana Public Library, specializing and focusing on young adult and volunteers. I've been a young adult librarian now for quite close to 20 years. And the community of Santa Ana is one in which access is really important to our youth. It is a difficult and a tough community. High rates of poverty, low literacy rates, and many teens come to the library to find it as a safe space, a space for community, and a space to grow their futures. So, the main three principles in which we have developed for our teen program is the focus on teens, tech, and trabajo. Trabajo meaning work. When teens come into our library, we right away engage them with various programs that really help them connect and give them access to especially different types of technology, not just cutting edge technology, but future edge technology. This has always been a core. And what this technology does and this access also gives them access to workforce. Many of the youth that come into our library tend to also be youth who are marginalized, who have limited access to resources, but we also are a space for neurodiverse youth for many many years, and we still continue to work with workforce programs specializing in serving youth on the spectrum and neurodiverse youth. And because of that, we've always looked at different ways in which technology can bridge gaps in learning, gaps in socialization. And but we've always done technology within the concept of community and within our larger concept of what we in Santa Ana practice call our circle of mentoring, where we provide a safe space for youth to grow and learn from caring adult mentors who, come from various backgrounds, who can teach them different skills and connect them and build bridges to success and others. And also the youth themselves are then asked, tasked to give back to the community by being big buddies and volunteering with a younger generation. And that's why the younger generation grows up and the circle continues. And so it's always been a big space of and community and access to technology. This became really challenging when COVID hit in 2020. And that is when we had to do sort of a COVID pivot, like everybody else. And what we found out was throughout the years that while access in communities like Santa Ana to services and resources are difficult and challenging, it's especially even more challenging with families who have children who are on the spectrum, especially if they're monolingual Spanish speakers. Um, so we even then at that point, prior to COVID, were looking into different sorts of robots and technology that could sort of bridge the gap. When COVID hit, it sort of kind of put the pressure on us to go full speed ahead and really look into how we can, use these technologies to our benefits, because suddenly we couldn't do community like we used to do interpersonally. So the answer became, how can we look at technology and robots? Also, we were very fortunate prior to around the year of the COVID that our library was able to get funding to bring back our mobile library services. And so with that, we were thinking, how can we tie our mobile library services and also build community and still connect our teens to and our community to technology and also future work prospects. And with that, we decided to apply for a state of California grant called a Shared Vision Grant for mobile library services. We already got our mobile library. We called it our Knowledge Mobile. And with that, I started developing an idea of a program of having robots in residence. And these robots would be in our Knowledge Mobile. They will go out into the community and be able to interact. And we had various types of robots. And one of the types of robots that I've in my research, because remember, I was trying to find a way in which we could still help our neurodivergent youth have some sort of community still in a way that's now safe with COVID. And I stumbled upon what was called Robot Mediated Behavior Intervention, or RIMBY for short. And with that, I used the state grant funds to purchase our first robot, which was QT. And QT robot was met very successfully outside in our community. We took him on the bookmobile, and kids really responded to him, and so we decided that we got funds from the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA. And with that, we expanded on our RIMBY program, or our robots in residence, and with QT, and got QT some more friends. And we developed what's called our Astound program. And what Astound stands for is providing access via services, support, and socialization for neurodivergent youth to discover tools and develop skills for success. And that was what it was. We were able to, receive funding from the ARPA funds to experiment and purchase a whole host of different types of robots. Other key ones who are part of the RIMBY type of programming to be friends with QT. You'll get to meet these other robots in a little bit. And part of the core components of Astound program was a program called Astound Robo Fun Time, which was designed for kids who were preschool age, so early literacy. So these would be neurodivergent kids under the age of 5, and they would be paired with teen mentors who were part of our Astound Buddy Volunteer program. And this is where we would have teens who were on the spectrum, on neurodivergent teens, and as also other teens who were interested in working with youth populations and robotics and with this special program. And we would have it, for about an hour. Kids would meet our robots. They would work with the robot with the help with teens. Then they would have another station where they would access other different sorts of STEM tools and also have access to sensory toys and low sensory other sorts of objects. And in addition to this, part of Astound, we launched our Moxie Robotic Companion Checkup Program. And that is a program where families could check out a robotic companion. And we will share a little bit more about that. But now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Larry to explain a little bit more and give you a little bit more in depth about what Robot Mediated Behavior Intervention is. Larry?
I'm here. I was getting these slides in order. Okay, so some of you are familiar with neurodiversity. Others have only heard the term, so I'm going to give a definition so we're all on the same page, okay? So neurodiversity is a pervasive developmental disorder characterized by severe deficits in social interaction and communication. These individuals have an extremely limited range of activities and interests, and it's often accompanied by the presence of repetitive stereotype behaviors. While there's many functioning individuals that are neurodivergent, some require special instruction, therapy, and training in order to be active members of society. They can only have so many hours of therapy in a day, and parents can only do so much. So this is where the robots fit in. They're specially programmed to interact with youth on the spectrum on a level and in a way that they understand. These robots are programmed with a rudimentary form of artificial intelligence. Some of them have programming that allows them to adapt to the child's learning style, and others use generative artificial intelligence in which they can actually carry on a conversation with the child, much like ChatGPT. I'll discuss more later, but these programs are based on the concept of robot mediated behavior intervention, which, in a nutshell, is a way that the robots are programmed to match the learning styles of neurodivergent individuals so that they can offer an optimal learning environment. Now, Cheryl's going to talk about how these robots fit into our resource offerings here at Santa Ana Library and how they can be a great addition to your library.
I'm going to have, we will continue on about those and that these different robots are really great to have in any library. And when we go into a little bit more depth about the different types of robots, you will be able to see that there are a lot of options and there are a lot of possibilities. This is all new. We were really fortunate to have the state funding and as well as ARPA funding to be able to really pilot and experiment with different ways that these robots may work. Sometimes they work great with one-on-one or small group programming, but we've also been able to take them out to large-scale community events and community outreach events. And, and we've been able to have hundreds of kids at a time connect and work and be acclimated to these various robots. I'm going to turn it over now to Larry to talk a little bit more and also to show you some of our great coverage and that we've had about this program to give you a little bit more insight.
So Cheryl said we've had some major media coverage of this program. Mother Jones Magazine did an article. American Libraries Magazine, many of you probably saw the article, was it last issue? I believe last issue. And then this segment from CBS, which aired on the evening news, or actually it was CBS Sunday morning.
These days, our interactions with technology are increasing at a rapid pace. From products like ChatGPT to automated phone systems, we often find ourselves talking to machines as if they were human. But while some of us might find that cold and scary, for others, it's exactly the interaction we need. Elise Preston has the story from Southern California.
Hi, Luki.
This is the start of a futuristic friendship for Luke Sepulveda.
In different spaces, you don't know how he's going to react. So I was just hoping for the best.
Ella Sepulveda's 4-year-old son is on the autism spectrum. She wants to make sure he can communicate with the world around him.
He was locked into that robot.
Yeah. That's
You're
sweet.
smiling.
I know, that's sweet.
From the inside out.
Just knowing that a robot can engage his attention, that makes me happy.
Here at the Santa Ana Public Library, robots are specially programmed to teach children with autism. 1 in 36 children in the U.S. is on this spectrum.
That is the square. Touch the square.
This is one of the first libraries in the country to provide this pricey program free.
Access is a big issue, especially to new technology.
Librarian Cheryl Eberly launched the program during the pandemic, hoping to help fill gaps of services for children of color who are often underserved and diagnosed when they're older.
Every time I see, a kid on the spectrum, a neurodivergent kid, lock in and interact with the robot and get that moment where they are bonded and they understand, it's amazing.
Bonds created with the human help of Larry Singer.
Human beings have emotions. Human beings get tired. Human beings get frustrated. A robot, same response every single time.
The tone is always the same.
They're not critical. They're always comforting.
I am proud of you.
Oh, she's proud of you.
My hope and dream for him is really just do your best, you're awesome, and you're loved.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Elise Preston, Santa Ana, California.
Now that's a reason for a robot.
Thank you. You're awesome and you're loved.
We've been
Hi. Thank you for sharing that video, Larry. And I wanted to kind of share it with you so you could see, in action and having a family in action. So for me, it's always a great experience to be able to provide this kind of service and provide this kind of access to community members, to kids. And so on the next step, I would like you to meet our robots in residence. And these are specifically our Astound cohort of robots.
All right. So now in this slide, you can see a picture of all our robots in residence. Each of the robots is extremely patient. This is the key to robot mediated behavior intervention. Human beings might have different emotional responses to the neurodivergent youth, while the robot will give the same response, like I said, every single time in the same manner. Neurodivergent people need this consistency. The robots are not judgmental, and all they do is encourage. So let's see QT.
Hello, my name is QT. What is your name?
So QT was our first robot. And QT is made by Lux AI, which is based out of Luxembourg. It makes the robot and the software. QT was funded by our state of California grant. It is a humanoid robot about the size of a 2-year-old child, and it has a very simplistic lessons and a couple games. The kids really love the simple games, and it's able to, through a user, be able to give the kids encouragement. You interact with the robot via a laptop computer that the parent or instructor controls, and a tablet for a child. It utilizes very basic AI. We were very early adopters in this 2020, and as such, the functionality in ours was somewhat limited. The current model has not only a camera, but also the ability to process voice recognition. And we just got a new model that Lux AI resent us because our early QT sadly was no longer functional. So QT came with an educational learning units that cover a wide variety of skills that are all targeted to improving a child's social and communication skills, language development, cognitive development, emotional skills, and autonomy. Like I said, Lux AI makes this robot and the software, and the cost of the hardware is $3,320, and a yearly subscription, which you have to have, is about $3,660, and this is for the professional model of QT. So the picture you see there of the young girl holding QT, this is one of our patrons in our library, and she's our teen regular, our teen space regular, and she is on the spectrum. Her family, she has a single mom who is primarily a monolingual Spanish speaker. When this young girl came into our library, it was, you could see that her mom was just so anxious and so bereft. The mom had such a hard time being able to navigate access for this young girl in our community, in school. And so our library was a safe space, and we provided her a lot of interaction, a lot of access to technology. So this is her, the first day we unboxed QT. She was there hanging out. This was right after, and it was the early days of COVID when our library first opened. And we unbox QT in the teen space, and next thing you know, she goes right to it, and she's like, oh my gosh, it's a robot. Can it speak? Is it, is it communicative? Does it interact with us? And she zoned right to it. And so that was kind of like validation. Oh wow, it was, we had never seen her interact and be so with a person before like that. Like she went directly to the robot. And so it was a beginning of a wonderful relationship. The next picture you see is QT with our knowledge mobile, and that is QT at a school setting that we bring it out, and QT does its programs and it does its exercise. But QT also has a feature that says that is a feature, that calm down feature. So that is our QT. I'm going to turn it over to a little bit more about QT. QT was built in 2019 and was called QT Robot TP. Since then, they have released a model with a more durable robot build, better quality motors, enhanced internal hardware component. This model runs the Lux AI autism software. In addition, they also have a QT Robot RD for research and development, and a QT Robot AI Edge, specifically for artificial intelligence purposes. I recommend looking up their website to see more. I'm going to turn it over to Larry to talk about Milo.
Hi there. Okay. Next is Milo. Both the instructor and the child use an iPad to input. Milo has a variety of lessons. The lessons, he has a video that shows up on the iPad, and he describes it. In the video shows the vignette, and the child answers questions that Milo asks. The lessons that Milo has cover a wide variety of skills, and they're all targeted in improving the child's social and communication skills, emotional skills, and autonomy. And as you saw in the video, it has a very expressive face. Milo is made by Robokind. They've been very helpful with support with us, and they have a few different robots with different genders and ethnicities. The cost is $16,000, and the software's yearly subscription of $6,000. Now, Carol is going to talk about Kebby.
This is Kebby. He's a small tabletop robot and uses Movia software for autism, which is called WAS software. Kebby can be either a cat or a dog. comes with educational learning units that cover all kinds of skills that improve the children's social and communication skills, language development, and cognitive development. This is some images of QT in action, and I'm going to let Larry introduce Moxie and show you a video of Moxie in action.
So the previous three robots have had what's called reactive AI, the intelligence program into the robot, and then the user answers a question, and it just gives and it scores it based on their answer. Moxie, however, is the next generation of neurodivergent robots, and it uses generative AI, which responds conversationally with the user. Moxie has the most graphically expressive face of them all, and it comes with a manual with different missions that the child helps it solve. The categories that the Moxie addresses are mindfulness, communication, education, play, and social emotional learning, or you can just have a conversation with it. Moxie does need a quiet environment because it's very susceptible to sounds. So we try and have it in a back room so that the sounds from the teen space are not going to impede it. And then Cheryl, you want to talk about the checkout program?
We have about 15 Moxies, and they can be checked out for a 3-month period. All parents go through an initial orientation phase to learn about Moxie. Currently, there is no waiting list, and on average, 75% of the Moxies are being checked out at any given time. I'm going to turn it over to Larry so he can show you a video of Moxie in action.
And well, first these are the robots, and we use them with elementary age children, people that enjoy technology, and we will soon be going out to senior centers and using them with seniors. And so the theory and benefits, the reason that robots are used in neurodivergent youth is they provide a consistent, repetitive, and engaging interactions that can benefit those on the spectrum. So here's a demo of Moxie in action with one of our participants.
What's the most imaginative thing you've ever built with your Legos?
I tried to make a boat one time.
That's awesome that you tried to make a boat with your Legos. Boats are so much fun to build. What color was your Lego boat? And did you imagine sailing to a faraway island on it?
It was gray, and I thought I could make a house on that boat.
A gray Lego boat with a house on it sounds like a cozy and cool idea. You could have a little Lego family living on the boat. If you could add one special feature to your Lego boathouse, what would it be?
Maybe it would have a swing.
Swing on your Lego boathouse sounds like so much fun. You could swing by the water and enjoy the breeze.
Hey Moxie, tell me a joke.
Why did the chicken join the band?
I don't know.
Because he has his own pair of drumsticks. What year do frogs like best?
I don't know.
Leap year. I hope you like my jokes. Would you like?
So that was, we had to speed through a little bit, and I really wanted you to see Moxie in action, because Moxie is, through AI, that's very responsive, and the laughing and the conversation that Moxie is able to have with the kids is great. We've had families that have used Moxie to practice English language skills with their children. And Larry, is there anything you want to wrap up?
Well, should you have any questions at all about the program, about the technology, whatever else, if you want to bounce ideas off of us, we've already had from the article that was in Mother Jones magazine, we had some people write to us about it, about an interest in starting at their library. In the chat, I did include a link to a Google site that I set up, and that has the articles and the CBS video as well. So feel free to check it out. Take a screenshot of our information there if you want. And that's all. It's a really great program, and we get a great response every Saturday.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, we are available to answer questions, and we love sharing information with you.
We did have some questions in the
We did
chat,
have
but I
some
don't know.
questions.
I
I
don't know if
guess we'll keep taking questions because they haven't kicked us out. So let me see here. Would you say you need guaranteed sustained funding? The cost seems high. Yes, like I said, originally we were able to get and even try to experiment with these new robots and bring them access to our community was because of grants. And yes, we do need to have, it'd be great to have sustained funding, but there are a lot of different grants and options in there. And at least sustained funding for 3 years would be great. However, Moxie is a one-time purchase. Moxie does not have a subscription based, and Moxie is more for all sorts of different youth, not just targeted specifically for neurodivergent youth. The CABI, the QT, and the Milo are specifically for neurodivergent youth to teach them skills and teach them socialization, and those tend to be a little bit more pricey in terms of the subscription. However, the price is going down every year.
This one. So is the theory that works so well, it's such a constant same response or engagement with the robots? It's the repetition. Neurodivergent individuals respond well to repetition, to a schedule. And so yes, so that's why. And then the robots provide that. You try being responsive every time to somebody. It's difficult. You can't do it. The robots can.
We have not. Someone had, do you have a trouble with getting your robots back when you check them out? No, we don't. It's been amazing. We put a lot of trust in our patrons and in our families. And what we found is they have such a good experience with it, that with their families and with their kids, that they want others to share in that experience. So we've always had parents. We've never had a single robot go missing yet. I'm going to knock on wood on this, but we put a lot of trust in our family and faith in our families to return these and to have access on this.
And then Jolie asked for the link again. I included that in the chat. And then Jay wanted to know, have we witnessed parents being hesitant to use the robots? Not once. Not once. Some of the children are a little bit freaked out, but
I think the robot that creates some of the most hesitancy has been Milo, because Milo kind of goes into that part where it's uncanny valley, where it's a little bit too realistic. So Milo has had a few concerns here and there, but most of the time, most of the parents are so happy and grateful to have access to this sort of technology to help their kids. And as soon as they see their kids interact with the robots in such a positive manner, like you saw in the video earlier, it kind of trumps most of their concerns.
okay. Well, if anybody has any more questions, feel free to write to us, and we're both very responsive. And thank you everybody for coming to our presentation.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.